Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Price, XXV, Double I,
Rome,
D-Malo,
Gruff Lion.
T-Buggy, man.
Just the greatest sports show on the planet. La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what it is, man. It's your boy Young Rome 22 on all socials as always, man, with another great episode of Gas Presents Sports for the Culture. I'm here with the gang as always, man. We got a big show for y'all tonight with the NFL right around the corner. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the gang introduce themselves real quick. Let's start with my man on the bottom left.
It's your boy. It's been a minute since we have a 4-team show. Pause. Man, how you fellas been doing, man? I'm stuck right now in the countries of VA and Maryland, somewhere in the middle of DC in some fucking hillbilly ass area. But hey, man, I miss home already, man. I just want to be back in Jersey. Hate it here.
It's crazy, man. You live in central Jersey in the hick ass town, small
You don't
ass
live in no hick ass town, man.
You don't live in
First of
no
all,
real
I'm mad
city.
at all you guys because no one prepped me to get out of a train station and I walk into the middle of a mall. I still can't get over that.
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to help you out, G, because I still can't figure out what exactly about that is country.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't see it either, man. But I'm glad you're pulling your Keith Lee and visiting the DMV area. I hope you're having a better time than him. But we'll get into that a little bit later in the show too. I'll go ahead and let my man on the top right introduce himself.
Hey, man. T-Boogie. Wash your hands. Wash your ass. You know what it is. Hey, I'm ready to talk, man. Keith Lee, I'm ready to talk. NFL, ready to talk. Fantasy, ready to talk. Like, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm just ready for some football, but, let's have this show, man. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. I'm glad that you are ready, T, because tonight is a big night when it comes to the predictions. We're gonna get into the AFC. So we will be taking note, running tape on this very show, I'm sure, in the near future. But last and certainly not least, man, Scruff, let them know what you got going on.
What up, man? Scruff, man. Still in the rebranding process. Real estate license is officially in process. We did pass the exam. I'll be taking my talents to Keller Williams Real Estate in about 2 weeks once my license and shit clears. So I'll drop my new handle then.
All right, well, big shout out to you, Scruff, out there working hard, man. I see you, dog. I see you. I like that. But we're gonna go ahead and just dive right into it, man, because we got a pretty long show for y'all. So let's just get into it, man. The NFL season's right around the corner. We got a game in about 2 weeks, so let's get everybody's thoughts and predictions. Tonight we're gonna focus mainly on the AFC, and we'll start with the AFC North division. That's the one with the Ravens, Steelers, Browns, and I forget the fourth team.
Bengals.
But Bengals, that's right, Bengals. So yeah, let's actually start with the Bengals, man. That's actually a great place to start. I got a question for the Bengals, and I want to see what y'all think they're going to do this season. The Bengals, pretty much led by Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase has the whole contract thing. T. Higgins hasn't gotten a deal yet either, but Jamar Chase is practicing. T, you famously said on this show that the window for Joe Burrow and the Bengals is already closed. Joe Burrow has famously said that the window is open as long as he's in Cincinnati. So what's your outlook on the Bengals, and can Joe Burrow carry what I see as a depleted roster to the playoffs? I want to get y'all's thought on that. I'll start with you, G.
I'm gonna agree with Joe Burrow on this one. It is true that his team goes as far as how healthy he stays, and right now their kryptonite for me is their running game. Did they improve in running back once they let Joe Mixon leave the building? And I'm subpar, right? 'Cause I think is it Zach
Moss? Yeah.
I mean, Zach Moss had a pretty decent year without Nick Chubb, or was he with the Colts? I can't remember.
That's not. I wouldn't say he's an improvement over Joe Mixon, though. That's for sure.
But like, I think the Bengals going to be second in the division and a wild card team. But is their Super Bowl window closed? No, because as long as you still are a playoff contending team, your window is still technically open. And And that's so far the Bengals the only team that could rival the Chiefs right now.
Ooh, I
One of
don't know
those teams.
about that. The
Yeah,
AFC
I don't know about that.
is pretty stacked. You're right about one thing for sure though, G. They will go as far as Joe Burrow takes them. The question really is how far can he really take that team with that roster? Scruff, what you think about the Bengals this year?
I mean, I think they're a wild card team at best. I don't see them winning the division. Um, Baltimore is great on both sides of the ball. You know, really good defense. We've seen, they did lose their coordinator, and they filled in from in house, and I love that. They promoted a defensive coach to a defensive coordinator. They lost Patrick Queen, and y'all in a couple leagues with me. I went and go picked up the guy who's filling in for Patrick Queen. I know. I got intel at camp. The boy been balling. I like the Ravens, bro. I think the Ravens gonna be very good this year. They're gonna be only better than last year, in my opinion, because they play very well. You improved the running game by bringing in Derrick Henry. So I feel like the Ravens are in a position where they're in pole position in the division until something else happens. Really, I think the Bengals will be fighting for that wild card spot and second place in the division between them and the Steelers. And the Browns, with all due respect. I don't think anyone's talking about the Browns. The Browns did make the playoffs last year with Joe Flacco. So if they get some decent quarterback play, like they should be in the mix again too. So I'm not convinced that I think the Bengals could finish anywhere from second to third or fourth. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think they win the division for sure. And I agree with Rome. I think they're a little undermanned, bro. And I do think the window is not closed, but you got T. Higgins right now on a holdout, not holdout, but last year of his contract. Chances are he's not gonna be back next year. So this is their last chance to do it with two quote unquote number one receivers. But can you name anyone on their defense? I can't.
Trey Erickson, right?
Yeah, they got him as a pass rusher. But yeah,
Erickson.
that's kind of the point I'm trying to get to with the Bengals is outside of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they don't have any true superstars. So T, your point from a few years back, man, the Bengals window might already be closed. We might be talking about a moot point. What you think?
The window's closed, man. When I speak it, it comes to fruition. You know what I'm saying? Just because that's what it is. Like this Bengals team reminds me a lot of the Bengals team with Carson Palmer, Ocho Cinco, Chris Henry. Like they're very top heavy in the skill positions, but who knows what they have on defense? That's one of my favorite teams to play before Madden back in the day. But to me, that's a third or fourth place team in that division. The Steelers and the Browns are going to go the way the quarterback play goes. So whoever is better between Russ and Watson will probably get second in that division. But both of those teams have good defenses. The Browns, I think, have the better roster, but I still trust Russ. I know Scruff don't like Russ, but I still trust Russ. I think Pickens can go get that moon ball that Russ throws. Like that's his specialty, right? Throwing that deep ball, and that's Pickens' specialty. Going up and making a play on the deep pass. So I think they got potential for some fireworks there.
Yeah, picking specialty is bitching and complaining.
But
And
it's really the Ravens. It's really the Ravens' division to lose. Bringing Derrick Henry was great. Lamar Jackson came into camp. He's skinny Lamar again. I like that for him. Hopefully, that makes him more elusive, takes less shots, less injuries. Addition by subtraction, ironically. But I'll tell you this about the Ravens. If that team struggles early, somehow, magically, because I really don't like their secondary. I think Kyle Hamilton's a little overrated. If that team struggles early, Harbaugh's on the hot seat. That team has to make a Super Bowl run. They can't win 9 games. They can't win 10 games and lose the first round of the playoffs. They have to go to at least the AFC Championship, and they got to make it close. Other than that, I think Harbaugh has to go. So he's not on the hot seat just yet, but that seat warm. That seat is warm, baby. I think the fans know that.
Dang, T, you definitely coming out the gate swinging here, man. I didn't see a John Harbaugh on a hot seat take coming in the first 10 minutes of the show, but
Talk about a
I kind of see
reach.
what you're going though. I could see if the Ravens start off shaky or they don't do what they're supposed to do. I can see kind of what you're alluding to. But me personally, I think, like you said, it's the Ravens' divisions to lose, and I don't really see them doing that. But while we're still on the topic of AFC North, and you kind of touched on it already, let's talk about the Steelers QB situation and the Browns QB situation. This is kind of a twofer, so I want to get y'all's thought on Deshaun Watson in general. We already know the Browns. The Browns, unlike the Bengals, their roster is loaded. They're basically a QB away. Can Deshaun Watson hold it together enough to get them back into the playoffs and really make some noise? Can he do it, or is D4 done?
Last year, I was a fan of him. Last year, I thought that was going to be his rebirth. He's with the Browns. He had, Amari Cooper. He's a year older. Nick Chubb isn't playing the first 3 weeks now. The first 4 weeks now. Who's receiver number 2 now for the Browns?
Uh, is it Jerry Judy? They picked up Jerry Judy.
I thought Jerry Judy went to
The Browns.
Yeah, it was.
He went to the Browns. My honest opinion, I don't think the Browns are. They're going to be a wild card team. They're going to be the number 3 team in this division. It's kind of hard because you want Deshaun Watson to play when he played in Houston before he sat out that year, and it's not looking like it. I can't. The Browns and the Steelers are going to be bottom feeders. I think that their defense is going to keep them in the games, but that's the only thing they got to hang their hat on is their defense. Offensively, it's going to be real stagnant, real boring, a lot of short passes, a deep pass here and there, but in reality, these teams are going to be stagnant. They're going to be good enough to win 10 games.
I think
This
it's
is the
easy
only
to call them
division.
bottom
This is the only
feeders, though.
division I see that at least 3 teams come out of.
I don't think there's no bottom feeders in this division. With all due respect, I think the
So who's in last place?
last place makes you a bottom feeder.
Yes,
the
in this division, if you're the number 4, you're a bottom feeder.
Okay, what I'm saying is that none of these teams are losing less, and all these are 7-win and above teams. That's what I'm saying. So none of them are bottom feeders in a sense. Like they're going to be in
Can
the
you
top
make it to the
5
playoffs
in
with
the
7
draft.
wins?
No, but
So you are.
you're not a top 5 draft pick. You could be 7-9 in the last place in your division and still be one of the top 10 player teams in the conference. With all due
Yeah.
respect, technically,
I could see a world too where 3 of these teams are in the playoffs
you could finish last place in the AFC North and still make the playoffs.
potentially.
No, you can't.
Yes, you
Because
can.
the Steelers did it
7
with
teams.
we're like a 10-team win, and they didn't make the playoffs.
There's 7 teams. There's 7 teams that make the playoffs. 3 wild cards.
Right. It would be a stretch, but the whole division could get in. But Scruff, what's your thoughts on D4? I know you're a big fan, man. Do you think he's lost his magic, or do you think he's going to rekindle it?
I don't know, man. I'm still holding out some hope.
He's cooked.
I'm not ready to give up on him yet, bro. Because I don't. It's not too many times. I mean, I have seen it though. I can't say I've never seen it, but it's not too many times you see somebody that plays at such a high level. Like right before the final season, when he played with the Texans, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's one of the best quarterbacks I ever saw. He was Michael Jordan, like in the sport of football. I remember him going head to head against Patrick Mahomes in the playoff game.
Should have beat him.
There was one of the best football games I've ever seen from 2 quarterbacks dueling. I would argue better than the Joe Burrow, So I would say like I do have a higher ceiling for the Browns than the Bengals, with all due respect, because the Browns have a great team all around. And if they can have decent quarterback play from Watson, they'll be in the mix. If they can get that version of Watson, or even 80% of that version of Watson, they're a 10-win football team.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that one. The Browns are stacked. If Watson can just play average QB play, man, then they're easily in the playoffs. if he's anything to what he used to be, then I think they're a Super Bowl contender. But the thing with Watson, man, is when was the last time we saw it? It feels like it was pre-COVID that Deshaun Watson was a top QB in the league. So he's really got to prove it. Another quick question I want to get y'all's thoughts on, and we'll be a little quick with this one, is the Steelers QB battle. I don't know if y'all been keeping up with it this August. Both QBs from what I've seen, have been a little lackluster. I'm leaning a little bit towards Justin Fields as the starter for the Steelers. I'm interested to know what y'all are thinking, though. T, if you were in Mike Tomlin's shoes, man, who are you starting week 1?
Starting Russ. I'm starting the guy that won Super Bowls. I'm not starting the guy that the team that drafted him didn't even want. I mean, if something goes awry and we got to play Fields, he's athletic enough to, 3rd and 10 scramble for 12. But I think you got to play Russ and see what you have. You didn't bring him in to not play him, right? I mean, why? They brought him in. He's a vet. Let the guy do what he can do in live action. Like, I'm not judging a vet. I'm not judging Aaron Rodgers. I'm not judging none of the vets by what they do off season, preseason. I want to see what they do in the game. So I'm going with Russ.
How do you think the Steelers perform this season with Russ as QB? Do you think they're 4th, 3rd in this division? Are they fighting for a wild card?
It's tough sledding. It's going to be tough sledding, just because how tough that division is. But a wild card seems appropriate because that theoretically that team could split with the Browns and split with the Bengals, split with the Ravens. Like, I fully expect those teams to beat each other up. So, but I do think the Steelers I trust Tomlin a little more than I trust the other guys. So I think Russ finds a way. It would be sad if that team fell apart, but Najee Harris and what's the other running back?
Warren.
Be a little bit better than Najee. They have a running game. So you have a running game, you can play defense, you can win a ton of football games in this league.
Yeah, you kind of convinced me on the Steelers, man. We know Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season yet in his career. I was starting to feel like this might be the first one, but as you named the running backs and mentioned the running game and the solid defense, the Steelers, they could be in contention for a wild card. I really think it's going to depend on the QB play. Scruff, who would you start in week 1?
I agree with T to some degree. I mostly agree with D Money out here in the comments. I do think Russ starts, and I think that he's going to lose his job. Just the most natural order of events. You know what I'm saying? They're going to go with the more proven veteran, right? Because if neither are playing that well, they're going to go with the more proven commodity, right? And you have to have somewhere to go from there. Because here's the thing. You can't start Justin Fields and then go to Wilson. But you can start Wilson. He doesn't play that well. So here's the thing about the Steelers. I similarly feel like they're a high floor team. I don't see them losing. I don't see them winning any less than 7 games. They're an 8-8 football team based on the old ways, right? But the quarterback going to bring them above. I know the thing about the Steelers, they're going to be in a lot of 13-13 games. And what's the difference is going to be the quarterback. And I feel like when Russ plays well, he can do enough. So I think they're going to be just hanging along that 13-13 game. And much like the Broncos, when he was playing well, they were barely winning, with all due respect. And I think it's going to be similar for them. I think eventually they're going to get a little tired of it. The Steelers' O-line's not great, as mentioned in the comments. So I do think that Russ is going to get beat down. He's going to be scrambling. He's not going to be able to do too much. And they may go to Fields. I'll give him 6 games before Fields ends up being the starter. And Fields is going to end and finish the season. Fields is going to finish the season. And Russ, he'll be playing somewhere else next season. Maybe on this couch.
Here.
My turn?
Gee, I see you shaking your head, man. What's your thoughts?
Man, I think Russ is going to keep the job for the rest of the season. They don't see a division game until week 10, and that's at home with Baltimore. So the first 10 games, the Steelers are winning. I said it here first. Steelers don't lose until week 11 when they face the first 10 games. They're gonna win. Look who they have the first 10 games. They have Atlanta. They go to Denver. Then they come back home to place the Chargers. Are we fucking kidding? And then
I
they
think
go.
those first two games are L's
I don't know
already.
about that, bro. I mean, off the rip. I mean, yeah. So they play this. They
So
play
all
the
I'm gonna say, I'm
Falcons,
supposed to be scared of Kirk Cousins. All right,
All right.
all right. And then
Falcons,
Denver Broncos.
Broncos,
Come on now.
Chargers. Easy
Let me
games.
finish. Let me
Colts
finish, and I'll let you
winnable.
talk. Let me finish.
Cowboys. Okay. Fine.
And then, like I said, after week 3, that's already 3 wins right there because that's the Chargers. Then they go to Indianapolis, the Colts. That's another W. Then they got Dallas. I'm not a Dallas hopeful right now, and they're gonna win that game. Then they go the Raiders, the Jets, the Giants, and Washington. And then we already said they're gonna split against in division, right? They're gonna win that home game against Baltimore. Then they travel to Cleveland week 11, where they're gonna see a loss. I heard
Yeah,
it
I
here
think the
first.
schedule is favorable.
I mean, you're not selling me on 10-0, but you are selling me on like 7 out of the first 10.
Yeah.
You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So that's
Them
supposed to show
last
you that
them last couple games. So.
Russell won this job. He can't lose it. He could if injury happens, but from here on out, it's Russell's literally job to lose. And you're not gonna let this kid. And then on top of that is what we said when he signed Justin. If they're smart, you sit him out because you don't want to pay him these crazy contracts that these quarterbacks have been getting. Look what Green Bay got duped into doing. Come on now.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I got some comments about the Packers. We'll save that for the next show. So you've all made great cases for all these teams, honestly, man. This is probably going to be one of the tougher divisions in the whole league, let alone the AFC. But it's looking like the way we're talking, all 4 teams could potentially be in the playoffs. Which team do y'all have actually winning the division? Uh, G, I'll start with you, bro. Who's winning the AFC North this year?
I said in the beginning of the show, I'm gonna stick with Baltimore.
Scruff, who you got?
Ravens, 12-1 team.
T, who you got?
Hey, Riders. We go with the Ravens, man.
Yeah, so as good as this division is, man, it's a clean sweep here. I don't see the Ravens losing this division. Lamar, like he said, Lamar and them got a little bit more to prove, so we got to see what they actually do once they get to the playoffs. Anything less will be seen as a failure. So we'll circle back to the Ravens here once we start talking about the playoffs. But let's go ahead and jump down to the AFC South with the Houston Texans, the Colts, the Jags, and who am I forgetting? The Titans.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the Titans, roster's looking a little depleted. They got Will Levis. We can be kind of quick on the Titans. Can they do anything in the post King Henry era?
Yeah. I think people are sleeping on Titans. I think people are very sleeping on Titans. I don't think they're going to win the division, but I think they're going to be better than people think. I'm curious what their over-under is for the season. I'd be willing to take the over if it's like 6 games. I'm actually pretty confident in what they're building there. Pretty good offensive line. Pretty good receivers. Yeah, they lost Derrick Henry. I get that. But they also filled it in with Dallas's old running back. What's his name? Marcus Pollard or Pollard? Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard.
Yeah. Tony Pollard. And then you got you just picked up Calvin Ridley. Will Levis, strong arm. I think they're a good football team. Playoff team, no. Up and coming team, yes. Here's my prediction for the Titans. They finish with more wins than the Jaguars.
Ooh,
In this division.
okay. Okay, I like that take. I actually like that take a lot. My question for the Jaguars is pretty simple, man. Is it now or never? Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be this generational talent for Jacksonville. They haven't made much noise. I believe they made the playoffs. He got his dub over Justin Herbert. But outside of that, man, Jacksonville has kind of just been a flash in the pan almost. So is it now or never for Jacksonville, or is it time to blow that whole thing up? See what you think.
I mean, it's now or never, I suppose. Like, I don't think they blow it up, though. I think that's a team that latches on to that quarterback, similar to the Cowboys, and you just exist in mediocrity for another 7 years. Like, they're not gonna move off of Lawrence, and they're not gonna get much better. So they'd be Cowboys of the East, I guess. What is that? No, Cowboys AFC. There we go.
Yeah. I think they fire the coach. If it doesn't go well, they're gonna fire the coach. Then they're gonna bring in somebody who's gonna be like, to help Lawrence get over the hump. And then I was talking to G about this a little earlier. I mean, I feel like Trevor Lawrence, #1 draft pick, right? "Quote unquote" generational talent, right? I think like he ends up being a career starter, sure. Do I see him being a Hall of Famer, winning championships? No, not at all. So I mean, I think he's decent. He's decent enough to remain the starter, but beyond that,
I agree with that take. I don't see Trevor Lawrence ever getting over that hump. G, what are your thoughts on Trevor Lawrence? Can he get the Jaguars over the hump, or are they just, to T's point, stuck in a cycle of mediocrity?
I think you forgot about Jacksonville. They started the season last year 3-8 before he got hurt, and they were looking unstoppable. They're looking like a good playoff contending team. He got hurt. This season derailed. I guess you guys forget that he beat your favorite your White Hope and Justin Herbert. You remember that comeback? You don't talk about that, do you?
I mentioned that when we brought him up. I mentioned it.
Guess what? Neither of them making the playoffs this year.
Man, listen. For me, I got Jacksonville winning the division.
What?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Y'all can say what y'all want, man. Mind you, I was the guy who told you about Stroud, and I told you how.
Now you disrespecting him,
and it played out exactly how I told y'all. And I'm saying the same things are gonna happen with Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's gonna have a decent season. I think they're gonna be a good 12-team win.
So,
but
G, man, you did put us on to CJ Stroud last year. You did call his outstanding rookie season.
I called out all those rookies. I said it how I was gonna play, and it played out exactly.
No, bro, that's not what happened.
Yes, it did happen. What happened with Richardson?
He got hurt.
And what's gonna happen again to him?
Bro,
you saw how bad he looked against a third defense.
He was leading all.
He looked damn good in some parts.
Some look horrible against third defenses. And then y'all talking about some dude that eat mayo supposed to be scaring me. Come on.
Yeah, Will Levis with the Mayo commercial was crazy.
Come on, man. I know y'all know football. I love CJ Stroud. I think he's gonna have a great sophomore season, but I don't think he's gonna win the division.
Crazy.
So you don't have him repeating on the division? That's crazy. I thought for sure you would have been on the Texans with Stephon Diggs, all the additions. I mean, they're fully loaded over there.
Nothing in the running back position that made it any better.
They got Joe Mixon.
Oh, come on, man. Joe Mixon, are we fucking kidding ourselves now?
Bro, they got better everywhere, bro. Yeah. What are you talking about? Man. They got better at running back. They got better at receiver. They got better on the O-line. They got better on the defense. They brought in the middle linebacker. They brought in the secondary guy. They brought in the defensive lineman. They got better on every unit, bro.
Singletary Jr. is a dog. He might be the best corner in the league. The Texans are loaded.
It's a 12-win team.
When is it a loaded team won anything? Please explain that to me, guys.
Jags might be one of the worst divisions that South is one of the worst divisions in football.
No, it's not.
It is.
The NFC South is the worst division.
It's Houston and a bunch of mid-level teams, bro.
Yeah, that was going to be the next question. Is anybody even really threatening Houston in this division? If Anthony Richardson stays healthy, do the Colts make a push?
No. Horrible. It's literally Jackson and Houston division to win. And
Colts are a 7-8 win team at best.
Man, I'm not.
And that's with Richardson.
A 4-win team at worst.
That's with Richardson healthy, is what we're thinking.
Richardson healthy, yeah.
Right. All right, so we all got
some games away, to be honest.
Other than G, we all got Houston winning the division.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, hot take culture has to be stopped, bro. Like,
but this is not hot take. We literally saw Trevor Lawrence get hurt, and then the shit got derailed. And then all of a sudden, we're just gonna be like, "Nah, this kid can't give us nothing." Come on, man. Listen,
Brian's.
Go ahead.
We're gonna rewind the tape, and when y'all rewind the tape, y'all gonna be like, "Damn, he was right."
No, we not.
Y'all say that all the time.
You had it on CJ Stroud last year. I don't know about this Jacksonville tape. I don't know about this one. We'll see though.
G got lucky as hell on that last tape. on the CJ Stroud joint, and I'm gonna make sure we bring it up again next show when we talk about the Bears. But he over here, he gonna bet his bottom dollar on
All
Caleb
right, all right.
being a bust.
So let me read the first 10 games in
guarantee you
Houston.
he's not gonna be a bust.
Let me read the first 10 game in Jacksonville, right? They got Miami.
Loss.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah,
The Browns.
Definitely.
loss,
The Bills.
loss.
Y'all bugging. That's not happening. Houston.
0-3, 0-4,
The Colts.
0-5, maybe one day. It might
Wow.
be a winnable game.
Let's see. That's why I
Winnable
know it's
game.
ridiculous.
Winnable game.
Nah, I didn't want to. At this point, it's ridiculous because then y'all gonna tell me the Bears are gonna lose, are gonna beat these guys.
So let me go ahead and tell
and then
you,
y'all gonna go ahead and say the
1-4
Pats are gonna
in
beat
those
them
first
and then
games at
no.
best.
No.
1-4,
No.
guarantee it. Colts
you want to
start
bet?
1-4. I mean,
You wanna bet?
no, it's
You wanna
a
bet?
stupid bet.
You want to bet? All right, exactly.
We'll run the tape.
Can't even put his money on it. I don't want to hear that.
I don't.
I like the boldness, G. I like it, man. You picking with your chest out today,
Bro, because
but
it's like you guys are just looking at what I want to look at and not looking exactly look. That's why when I told you about the Steelers, y'all were like, oh, y'all started thinking once you start looking at those games. Come on now, look at these games. I think literally the first 10 games, these guys are gonna win 7. And they're gonna lose 3, but they're gonna win 7.
Total.
I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence. I've never really was ever really sold on Trevor. And what he's done in the league hasn't impressed me, and definitely doesn't impress me enough to think that he's gonna be able to get past the Houston Texans and what they got going on in year 2, especially after how impressive CJ was last year. The sky's the limit for the Texans. I think, and we'll circle back in a minute, but I think they're gonna make some noise come playoff time too. The Ravens and Lamar, they got some competition down there in the AFC South. But let's go to a
Jags got
division.
worse. Go ahead, Bron. But Jags got worse than last season.
Yeah, I think Jags got worse as well, especially in comparison to the whole conference. But let's go ahead and jump to a division that's a little bit easier. AFC West. Until proven otherwise, is the Chiefs division. Anybody got any hot takes about somebody overcoming Pat Mahomes in this division this year?
T, you still
No, sir.
you still want to hold on to that? Never going back to the Super Bowl again?
Who?
You, Patty Mahomes. Remember when you said that? You still want to hold on to that?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that, but if I said it, dip it in gold.
I'll tell you about this division right here. Just like we were talking about the AFC North, this is like that same division but backwards. So like you could finish second in this division and be one of the worst teams in football.
Yeah.
Because that's how bad this division is outside of the Chiefs. Because you got the Chiefs, you got the Raiders, who are competitive in a sense. But then again, their quarterback is Gardner Minshew. At the end of the day, he is competitive. At best, they're a 7-win football team. Chargers, they're probably going to be terrible. And the Broncos, I also think they're going to be terrible. So,
yeah, the Chargers, man, there's not even much to say about them. We'll see what Jim Harbaugh can put together, but I'm predicting a terrible year for them as well. The Raiders are a little bit intriguing. Minshew has his magic, he can make a little noise, but that overall roster, I don't see them pushing for much in the AFC. And then the Broncos, they named Bo Nix as their starting QB. So what do y'all think about that? Is Bo Nix the legit future of the Broncos? Are they going in the right direction? Or is Sean Payton just out here making a mockery of Denver? T.
I think Sean Payton found his quarterback. I don't know if that. I mean, the last time he found his quarterback, that only led to one Super Bowl. So I don't know how much success that means, but I think Bo Nix will be there for the next 4 to 5 years. He'll get, matter of fact, more than that. He'll get another contract.
man, we'll see.
Oh, okay, so you got him getting 2 contracts with the Broncos. That's interesting. G, what are your thoughts on Bo Nix in Denver?
If you read reports, he's been having a great rookie camp. Like he's been nice inside the pocket, and it's true what they say about Peyton. He's a quarterback whisperer. Once he got his eye on a guy, pause, so he knows how to coach him up. I mean, this is the only coach that sounds super confident, knowing that he has a bad roster. The way he just talks to these guys, this is bad roster. Everybody wants to talk about the Jacksonville roster. No. The Broncos roster is the by far the worst roster in all of football right now. And the way Peyton comes into to the meeting, talks about these guys, it makes you want to be a believer for the Broncos. But nah, I think the Broncos are going to be at best a 7-game team win.
I actually think the Broncos will be sneaky good this year. The roster isn't that great, but I'm a Bo Nix guy, and I think they'll sneak out some wins. I don't think anybody is gonna even come close to touching Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. Scruff, what was your thoughts on Bo Nix starting for the Broncos?
I think it's a good choice. He's an experienced player. With that being said, not too high on him, but mostly because of the team around him. He's rearranging chairs on the Titanic, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've got one stat for you here: $53 million.
Big stat.
It's a big stat. T, you're GM. You're expected to build your team with $53 million less than everyone else. It's tough. You're taking a $53 million dead hit in Russell Wilson. So what do I expect from Bo Nix? Expect him to be undermanned. I expect him to have a little bit of help. And I expect him to struggle. With all that said, he'll probably have some productive games. He's going to be playing from behind a lot. So he'll be very productive because he'll be playing from behind a lot. The Broncos are a 4-win football team.
He'll be throwing to Travis Hunter next year.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean like they'll be the number 1 pick type?
They'll be in the top 3.
He'll be throwing to Travis Hunter because he'll be throwing interceptions to Travis Hunter.
He'll be on the clock.
He'll find his way to Travis Hunter in one way or the other.
So hold on, fellas. I got a question, right? They're gonna face four pretty good defense, right? In Seattle, Pittsburgh, Tampa, and Jets. Out of those defense, which one is Bo Nix gonna have a come out party?
None of them.
He might cook Tampa.
Maybe
Tampa, but other than that, like he's going 0-4. Like that's a 2-win team. There's a couple teams here that's going to only win. There's a couple teams aren't going to get the 5-win mark, and that's one of them.
Broncos is Book's got it over under 5.5. I'm slamming the under.
I would take the over on that. I think they're gonna sneak out some wins, man. I think the Broncos will sneak out some wins. I think the Chargers might be that 2-win team this season, though. I think the Chargers are gonna go through some real struggles.
Parlay that with the Commanders under, and you get a big fat loser.
All right, let's get to the real question in the AFC West, though, is pretty simple. Also, man, can the Chiefs three-peat? Do they do something that's very rare in the NFL? If it's ever been done, I can't remember of a team winning 3 in a row. Maybe Dallas in the 90s. Did they get 3 in a row, or did they just go to 3 in a row? I can't recall. But it would be pretty historic either way, especially in the modern era. So T, do the Chiefs three-peat?
I mean, if the NFL cheats for them, sure, but on their own merit, no. I don't think they get past the Ravens. I think they have too big of a bullseye. I think the whole league knows. It's like that guy that's about to get a triple-double. Everyone's like, don't let him get that last rebound. Like, I can't see it. I mean, if Pat does it, then, I'll entertain some of the Brady conversations. But as it stands, no.
I think it'll be tough for them. I think they got to dominate that division and do what they can to get that number 1 seed. If they're on the road in Houston, on the road in Baltimore, I don't know if they make it all the way there. G, what are your thoughts on the Chiefs potentially three-peating this year?
I think it's super possible, but I think the kryptonite is going to come back in their defense in the secondary. I trust the offense and Patrick Mahomes, but it's just like, you let Sneeze go, and it's just like, whoever they're having their play now, what is going to happen with that? I think that's the only chink into the Chiefs' armor right now is their defensive secondary.
Not worried about that at all. They go run through the division. I mean, they automatically going to be in at least the final 4 teams in the AFC without even trying. So, I mean, but I do think I think just the odds say that someone else is going to emerge out of this AFC. Just winning it that many times in a row is tough, and they're not like really to me that dominant to do that. And in terms of like the total team skill set, And the way the
Yeah, they
receivers
weren't
are going,
that kind of team either last year. And look what happened.
Right.
Won.
Hey,
you're
look,
right,
Exactly.
you're right. But in all respects, the Ravens would come and quote Dennis Green. They are who they thought they were, man. They let them off the hook. Like the Ravens supposed to win that game. The Ravens should have been in the Super Bowl.
Man, I was supposed to have a dad that wanted to give a fuck about me, but what the fuck happened there? What are we talking about?
I'm
Hey,
just saying, man.
if Xavier Worthy goes for like 1,000 yards or something, like goes over 1,000, like that, they're going back to Super Bowl. If he slots himself in perfectly to that offense, and he's just not a gadget player, and he's like a guy like Tyreek Hill was, that offense is back rolling.
I'm 50-50
Man,
on that.
I think this first game of the season is going to tell us a lot. I think it's about 2 weeks away on the Thursday. It's in Kansas City, I believe.
That
And
the
I think for as far as the first early
Ravens.
games of the seasons go, this will be a must win for both teams in every sense, because like I was saying earlier, if the Chiefs really want to get back, they're going to need home field advantage, and winning this game will go a long way in any tiebreakers down the road. So I think this is actually a very big game as far as early games in the season go. We'll see down the road.
Sure.
Bro, but they got the easiest. I think they got one of the easiest schedule, bro.
The
They do.
Chiefs,
They're in a
Yeah,
shitty
man.
division. It's not about the
yeah.
regular
So
season for them.
Nah, but like if we're talking about home field advantage, right? The real two tests in the first 10 games are Baltimore and 49ers. From here on out, I mean,
right.
you could say the Buffalo, but it's like
Now the Chiefs
everything.
can easily be 8-2 after the first 10. Easily.
are the
Yeah.
Chiefs for a reason. But
They'll
again,
be in there.
only
Bro,
thing
look at the last four games. The last four games, right, are Cleveland, and if Deshaun Watson isn't playing that game, that's a give me. They got Houston at home, and then they see Pittsburgh away, and then they got the Denver Broncos.
that's three tough games out of
Yeah,
four.
that's three good games in one cupcake. So
I say that's two tough game, an easy game, and a 50-50 game.
ain't no
Time will tell. I think the Chiefs, until somebody actually knocks them out, man, they you gotta give them their respect. But let's go ahead and jump to the AFC East, which I'm sure the AFC East will generate some type of hot take, hot topic from somebody. The AFC East always got a lot of controversy. Let's start with the Buffalo Bills, and my guy Bryce ain't on here today, but he's once told me that Josh Allen was the 1B to Pat Mahomes 1A. So I think we're gonna find out this year, because Josh Allen's lost Stephon Diggs. He wasn't that great before Stephon Diggs. We're gonna see what he does without him this year. So the first question for the AFC East, man, can Josh Allen carry the Bills? G, what do you think?
I think he could, but I don't think they're strong offensively, like what Miami got going on, to beat Miami. I mean, do I trust James Cook to have a more productive year than he had last year? I think last year was his ceiling. I don't trust James Cook. I mean, unless there's a three kind of back kind of package where you're gonna have the quarterback try to run the ball, but then who runs behind James Cook? Because I don't trust none of the receivers. I mean, the tight
I'm
end
with you,
he
G.
had a promising year, but still,
I'm with you. The roster is a whole lot of mid, and Josh Allen's gonna have to be Superman. He's really gonna have to have Cam Newton 2015 type energy if the Bills are to make some noise. T, what do you think, man? Is Buffalo gonna make any noise this year?
I think Buffalo is not any worse off than they were last year. This is the same team. Josh Allen is the Luka of football. Like he'll drag his team to the playoffs. He's the type of guy that can get hot and get lucky enough to drag his team to the Super Bowl. Won't win it, but I mean, what can you say? The guy goes out there, he finds a way to get it done. And,
T, let me ask you this: whose team has a better shot at getting to the Super Bowl this year? Joe Burrow and the Bengals, or Josh Allen and the Bills?
push.
Bills.
push. What you mean by push? You pushing the Bills?
It's equal.
Joe Burrow.
Betting term.
Joe Burrow can play, but Josh Allen can will his team to a win. Like we've seen Josh Allen go out there and lose games too, but that's the type of dynamic, loose cannon stuff. Loose cannon might sink your ship or it might sink the other ship.
Mm-hmm.
I know what Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's out there. Does he have blonde hair? Is that Marshall Mathers? Like,
Yeah.
It's a bad look. It's a bad look.
Eminem grew like six more inches. Pause.
I don't like it. Monster,
Yeah, whoa, gee, that was crazy. That was the craziest statement I think you've ever
I
said.
said pause.
Definitely takes the cake for craziest
I
statement of the
said
night.
pause.
We're not worried about any other man's growth like in that type of way. Let's just switch topics real quick to a whole nother theme.
I need my take on the Bills.
Oh yeah, go ahead, sir.
The Bills gonna win the division.
Whoa, wait, what?
Yeah, Bills gonna win the division.
You
Y'all
got
bugging. Y'all bugging out. Y'all sleeping. Y'all sleep on the Bills. The Bills gonna win the division. Josh Allen's in the Patrick Mahomes era in the sense of they couldn't afford to pay all his weapons, and they got rid of. This is a less is more situation. You get rid of the yappy motherfucker. Get him the fuck out of here. Feel me? Get him the fuck out of here. That's how they said it. Get him the fuck out of here. Just Stephon Diggs.
First of all, there's not that many Italians that live up in North New York.
Get him the fuck out of here. You feel me?
That's talking like that.
Get him the fuck out of here. They say, hold up. Yeah, okay. And with Houston, that's the one thing about Houston that worries me. Stephon Diggs. Because, like, they got a lot of mouths to feed over there. But anyway, the Bills, good. I mean, yeah, everything says that the Bills took a step back from getting rid of Stephon Diggs. My heart tells me they took a step forward because they got rid of the diva, right? Now Josh Allen can be free to just play ball. Now, let me tell you something else about the Bills. I'm not just pulling this shit out of my ass. Like, look at the last 5-6 games for the Bills last season. They kind of leaned away from from Stephon Diggs, and they leaned into the running game. They leaned into throwing to the tight ends. They leaned into Dalton Kincaid. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to lean to the running backs. They're going to lean to the tight ends. They're going to lean into the scrambling ability. You feel me? And then they're going to have a decent receiving core. Like, no stars there. But you got Keon Coleman. You got Curtis Samuel. You got some decent players, right? Enough. So I think what you're going to see this season is Josh Allen looking – I'll say this. Josh Allen, you know how Patrick Mahomes was playing with like Kadarius Toney and all these bum-ass receivers? Like, Josh Allen's kind of in a similar situation, but he has a little bit better help. I think he's more built to put the team on his back because, like, he could actually scramble and do everything. Like, he is – he's like that. I would say he's right up there with Lamar Jackson in terms of top quarterbacks not named Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, I got the Bills winning the division.
Yeah, I knew the AFC East would have some hot takes. That's definitely a hot take right there. Buffalo winning the division. I see where you're coming from. If you're a Josh Allen believer, or then I think you would be on board with that. But I agree with you in the sense of he is in the era of can he carry the team? That's why I presented the question this way. Can he will the team to enough wins to get into the playoffs, enough wins to get into the championship game and potentially a Super Bowl? I think it's a hell no. I think this season will go a long way in proving my take on Josh Allen this whole time, and that's that he's not really at the level of Pat Mahomes and a Joe Burrow and all those others. But this season will go a long way in telling us if Josh Allen is truly that elite level QB.
I got one more take. Josh Allen is going to win MVP this year.
Wow. Hot takes coming out quick with the AFC East.
Josh Allen,
you know what?
MVP. You're going to put the team on his back.
I'm not mad at that because if they go where they want to go, he's going to have to be league MVP. So that makes a little bit of sense. But let's keep it pushing in this division. I think there's a team that will they'll have to get past this team first, and that'll be hard to do with all the weapons that the Dolphins have. Miami Dolphins, Tua, I think is now or never. Very similar situation to Jacksonville. This team's kind of been stuck in the same place. I'd say they're a little bit of more above average than Jacksonville, but they gotta get through this glass ceiling. They really got to try to get to a championship game and push for a Super Bowl in this season. I feel like you picked them to get to the Super Bowl last year. How you feeling about the Dolphins this season?
One thing when it comes to the Dolphins, is going to come to the offensive calls, offensive plays, the defense. I think it's you can't just put everything on the players no more. You got to start calling out some head coaches. I think Daniel got to get it together. You got to call better plays for Tua and just make sure the defense play how the defense should be playing because it's not a bad defense. And that's the same thing when it comes to the Bills. Like the only difference about the Bills and Miami is the Bills defense can't stay healthy. For some odd reason, they're always losing a corner, linebacker, or safety throughout the season. And that's their biggest. That's if you look at past history with the Bills, it's just been their defense. They just can't stay healthy. And I think the same thing when now it's looking like Miami's. For Miami's, just the play calling. Like we know what they have in those offensive weapons. We know that Miami offensively is a team that could really put 25 points without a problem, with a blink of an eye, just with someone like Tyreek Hill, and then you got somebody like Water, you got Mustard. I mean, you have a team, but like, oh damn, now you guys got me thinking about this. Do I
You said
really want?
they got water and mustard. What did you say?
No, Rasheed Mustard, the
Oh,
running back.
okay. He said
Uh,
you got water, you got mustard, you got ketchup, you got something
you
going.
got the sauce, you got
The
everything, you got all
Glizzy
the
pack.
toppings for everything, man. But I
You
just,
got relish.
damn. See, I don't want to bring the Jets into this conversation because I don't trust Aaron Rodgers no more, man. He's old, he's washed. Like I'm tired of people always bringing up his past accomplishments. Like, man, that shit's in the past. Like, so what? I was an A student when I was in elementary, but in college, I'm fucking just a C average, and that's what we're watching with Aaron Rodgers right now, man. For me, is
That's the that's
I'm
the thing though. Aaron Rodgers may only need to be average to above average with this Jets roster. My next question was for T man, and it was about Aaron Rodgers. You kind of queued me up, G. Is Aaron Rodgers closer to that top 10 quarterback, or is he already over the hill? And are the Jets in more trouble than people realize?
I think he's still in that top 10 range. Uh, Jets are not in trouble. Not in trouble at all. Like that team's been dying to have a capable leader at the helm. So I think the Jets will be a playoff team. I think they win 10 games, maybe 11. Uh, I think Rodgers will do his Rodgers shtick if it gets sticky early and say, don't worry about it, I got it. But I really like what the Jets have. I like them having a true leader in the huddle. So, I mean, even a wash Rodgers is probably better than half the league.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, T. I personally think Rodgers is a little bit closer to over the hill than top 10, but with this roster, I think they win the division. I think Rodgers will do enough to definitely keep them in it, and I think they'll find a way to win the division. I wanted to say Miami, but when I looked at those last 5 games, I think Miami's going to have a tough road. We know how that team does on the road, especially when it gets cold. So I think Miami falls apart at the end, and Aaron Rodgers keeps the Jets afloat, and they steal this division at the end. G, who you got winning the East?
So, were you telling me Miami's only going to win one game, the last 5 games?
That last 5, I don't have it right in front of me, but
I'll tell you. I'll
they
tell you
might
right now.
go they
I'll
might
tell
go
you
0
right
and
now.
5.
I'll tell you right now. The last 5 is the Jets, Houston, 49ers, Cleveland, and Jets.
Oof.
Tough stretch.
Tough stretch.
That last 5 might kill their whole season.
They might go from not like they might be a 9-win team heading into that stretch, and they finish a 10-win team, which is my prediction.
I mean,
Uh,
Dolphins can score though, man. Like they can light it up. Didn't they drop 70 on somebody last year? Like
they
Denver.
did.
that
They
team,
did.
Right.
that team can stay in most games, but there is something to be said about when it gets cold outside and the football's a little heavier and the hits hurt a little bit more and the
All right.
speed.
Okay. So now we're
Man,
talking about that, right? So let me tell you the outside games, right? The first one with the Jets is at home. Then they go to a dome game in Houston. Then they go to California. And then the last 2 games are up north, which is in Cleveland and New York. Well, New Jersey.
I
That
don't like
team
it.
that they're playing in California is pretty good too, though. So
Yeah.
I
But
think
Who?
that's just a tough five game, a tough way to end the season. To be honest, like I said, I wanted to pick the Dolphins to win the season. If they can get through that 5 game gauntlet and prove me wrong, I wouldn't be mad at it. But that is a hell of a stretch.
tough draw.
Yeah, it is tough. I think 3 teams win come out this division though. I think the Bills win the division. I think the Dolphins are screaming wild card, and they have been. Like they've always been that team. I'm not really convinced that they're going to do anything other than be pretty good. And then the third team is the Jets. I agree with T. I think the Jets are going to be in the mix. Only they're going to be world beaters. But here's the difference, bro. The Jets have a great defense. They have a pretty good offense around Aaron Rodgers as well. The Dolphins have a really good offense. But who's on their defense? Like, obviously we know about like Ramsey and Howard. But like who else on the defense? Can you name anybody? Can you name any of their linebackers, defensive linemen?
Chubb is not there no more. I mean, what the fuck his name is? He came from the Browns. Fuck, it's not Chubb.
It is Chubb.
It's Chubb's.
Yeah, it's Chubb. I think he's on the pup list right now. I think he's still hurt.
He's okay. He's not great. He ain't what they thought he was going to be. I don't know. I'm not sold on their defense. To me, they're a one-sided football team.
They are.
That's a fair take.
Jets got two. They got defense. They got offense. Bills do too.
The Bills' defense is a little shaky. I need to see what they put out there. But
I don't know.
I mean, I look, this division, much like the division we started with, is going to be a tough one. The East and the North, I think, are easily the best two divisions in the conference. But now that we've all picked our division winners, G, who did you say out the East? You had the Jets.
Who? You telling me?
Yeah.
Dolphins.
No. I'm gonna take Miami.
Oh, you rocking with Miami? Okay. All right. Well, now that we all got our division winners in, man, let's talk playoffs, championship game. I'll start with this one. I don't know if this is a hot take, controversy or not, but I got the Chiefs and the Houston Texans in the AFC Championship game, and I do indeed have Pat Mahomes getting back to the Super Bowl for that potential three-peat. I think the Ravens fall off in the divisional round. I don't see Aaron Rodgers getting to the championship game. And the Bills might make a wild card. I don't know if any team that makes a wild card will get there. I think it'll come down to the Chiefs and the Texans, where the Chiefs get over. T, who you got in the AFC Championship game?
I got a surprise. Ravens, Jets. Ravens go to the Super Bowl.
T picking Lamar Jackson. I like that. That's different.
I don't like it though.
Two hated villains have teamed up to form the allegiance of doom. So Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson together might try to prove me wrong.
I agree with Hansel here. A lot of these teams are comparable. But I got the Bills coming to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Yeah, I do. I got the Bills playing, and I got the Ravens winning that.
Okay, so you got Baltimore going. G, who you got?
Shit, man. Let me get Patrick Mahomes versus the Dolphins.
Okay, who wins that one?
And this time it's not going to be played in the Chiefs Arrowhead. It's going to be played in Miami. And give me the Chiefs to win.
It's not going to happen.
Okay, so we got 2 picks for the Ravens, 2 picks for the Chiefs. I guess we're all excited for this Week 1 game, man. I think that'll, like I said earlier, that'll be a huge factor in how this all plays out later down the season. But I mean, that's basically the AFC preview. Anybody got anything they want to get off? Any more hot takes? Any interesting takes about the AFC?
Who's your
Cover
3
pretty
wild
much
cards?
everything.
Quick, 3 wild cards. Who's your 3?
For me, I don't think anybody in the South makes it. I think the North, you're gonna get either the Browns or the Bengals, and then I think the other one comes from the East, and it'll be the Dolphins. So Dolphins, Browns, Bengals for me.
For me, is Houston. Give me Cleveland, and then give me the Bills.
I'm going to safe to say that all the wild cards are going to come from the North and the East.
Well, name 3.
The Jets, the Dolphins, and either the Steelers or the Bengals, whoever comes out of that division. I don't know. It's hard to pick that one.
Yeah, the wild cards are going to be tough in the East. So it'll probably be a sleeper team that comes out of left field like every season.
Yeah, the Titans.
That'd
T
be
who
Titans are like
who's
an
the three playoffs? The wild
8-9
card
win
team.
team.
I do like the Jets as a wild card team. I like the Steelers as a wild card team, and I don't like the Dolphins as a wild. I do and I don't. I do and I don't. Those last 5 games are treacherous, but I'll say the Dolphins just because of bro. They can score, man, and they can score in a hurry, and they play very fun football. So sometimes they're just tough to beat, man. Team come out overpower you. You're playing from behind. You're playing catch up. It takes away your run game because you got to pass to stay in the game. So
Right.
Dolphins are kind of formidable in that way.
Yeah, Dolphins can make teams very one-dimensional. So that makes them a tough team to beat, regardless of anything, man. But yeah, I'm excited for it. We'll definitely be keeping up with everything in the NFL moving forward. But let's switch gears a little bit here, man. We're all in the DMV area. I mentioned it at the top of the show. G came down here to visit. We had another visitor out here in this area. I don't know how familiar everybody is with bro. He's a famous TikToker. Goes by the name of Keith Lee. And he does food reviews, and I'm actually very interested to get y'all's thoughts because I know everybody on this panel right here likes to eat. I know we have some cooks, some chefs up here themselves, so I'm interested to get everybody's takes on this, man. Like Keith Lee comes to the town, everybody in the town kind of freaks out. Like, oh, did he go here? Did he go there? He trashed this place. He likes this place. The reviews I saw were pretty favorable. As anybody who's out here in the DC DMV area, my personal take is the food in this area is overall is about a 7 to 8. There's not very many places that I would say are great to dine at. They're nothing spectacular, right? Nothing to knock your socks off.
He
But
had
I'm
a couple
interested to
more
get
spots
y'all.
though.
There are a few good spots, right? Some hidden spots, and I don't know if he went to any of those spots. I feel like he went to the,
He went to a couple. He went
fairly
to
popular ones.
apparently he went to an unidentified restaurant. It was a soul food joint, which turns out is Oohs and Ahs. I took G to Oohs and Ahs, the one in Northwest, not the hole in the wall on U Street, the Northwest joint. G thought the food was pretty good. Apparently, we went to Oohs and Ahs. And apparently he went to Jerk at Night, which I don't know if y'all hit the Jerk at Night, but good spot, man. Great roster pasta. I fuck with both of them spots. I don't know what his
There was
reviews
another
were.
one he went to, the Hong Kong spot. I forgot the name of the carryout, and the best one I think he went to was the Ethiopian spot, which I also forgot the name of.
Oh, I
But
saw that.
I've
I saw
heard
that.
good things about that spot before.
It says the headline says Keith Lee politely dunks on DC's food scene. It's crazy.
I think this dude is mad pretentious, man. I think he's trying to have
Agreed.
like 5-star reviews for like mom and pop shops. Like I think this dude is just he's all hype for no reason. Like, come on, man, you're not gonna get a 5-star quality food from an old mom and pop shop. Not to knock a mom and pop shop down, but you know what I mean? Your expectations are way too high. Like put them where they need to be at and like enjoy the food. I mean, I get it if you find like hair on your food or like it's undercooked. By all means, bitch and complain, but like, come on now, man. You're going to like mom and pop stop. You're gonna take your criticism to that level. You know what I mean?
He went to this Asian restaurant, called it the Asian Chipotle. Which, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that one too.
Oh, that shit sound mad pretentious. Like he just
Nah, he is though. You're 100% right, G. I feel I don't like Keith Lee. I don't like the way he moved, bro. Like
The only thing I don't like about it is bro will, and I guess it's because he's got a low level of fame now, but bro will take the food and eat it in the car. And I just feel like that, for me, that doesn't give you the full experience. Like if I'm a really judge a restaurant, I want to go sit down, eat, and get the whole experience. I feel like if I'm eating it in the car, there's a lot of other factors that may distract from how good or not good the food actually is.
so apparently he liked Jerk at Night.
I think Jerky Night is decent.
It's decent.
It's not the greatest Caribbean, but it ain't. It's all right.
It's solid. It's solid. Yeah, I don't like Keith Lee, bro. I don't like him. I mean, I feel like he, like I said, he be trying to complain and make a thing out of it, and like people like it's a good hustle though he got because it's like he coming. That's what people used to be saying. Like I order my Uber Eats and I put Keith Lee in the name, but people will like soup your shit up because they're like, oh, it's Keith Lee. We gotta make sure he don't like he got people scared for real.
I think it's not. I think what he does is noble, but I don't think it works in big cities. I think like G said, it's mom and pop shops. Like at least DC is not mom and pop friendly. I said this on Twitter. Like you can't sell grandma's banana pudding on H Street. Like these places have really expensive leases,
Yeah.
and they rely on the bar to carry them. So no matter what you're serving, the emphasis is really on the drinks. We got to get
Yeah.
drinking to afford this location. So I think I think he'd be better suited in other cities, the Richmonds, the Norfolks, the more southern cities
Oh
where
man.
people need those mom and pop reviews to
Yeah,
kind
he mentioned that in one of the reviews I saw that pretty much every spot in DC had emphasized drinking and alcohol, but he doesn't drink. So that's another thing I think that factors into it. So like I do know when I go to DC, every spot that I'm hitting has a dope bar, right?
He's
That is
drinking.
one of the more emphasis. But yeah, if you're not drinking, if you're not into the alcohol scene, then I wouldn't even really suggest that many spots in DC.
of
There's some spots in Nova, and I'm sure that there's some spots out in Maryland that might be a little bit more that type of style, or even to T's point, if you really wanted to get a taste of some food, you would go down south, some southern spots in VA.
or you would go to the suburbs of DC. There's some spots in Columbia, Annandale, Virginia, Rockville, Gaithersburg, but like DC
The stuff surrounding the city, yeah.
is political, it's corporate, it's IT. Uh, so so if you want dive bars and all of that, that's not DC, bro. DC is fine dining, it's sitting down, it's buy the whole bottle of wine, it's
Yeah.
my whole team is out for a team dinner. Like he's not reviewing that type of food. So this isn't really the scene for him. He don't even eat seafood. Like, bro,
The fuck?
Right. That was another thing. I'm like, bro, how you gonna come to DC, Maryland, and Virginia, but you don't fuck with seafood? Like that's
Are
one
you
of the
serious?
strongest selling points.
Get that Negro back to Atlanta. Where the fuck he from?
Like, yeah, like I think he's cool. I think it works, but bro, it's people trying to get Michelin stars out here. James Beard Award.
Yeah, I feel like
Nah.
he does a nice thing with like
He not even in the good
he'll pay the
spots.
restaurant and he'll pay for people that are about to come eat and all that. And I feel like he does a good service for the restaurant, tipping people very well and all that kind of stuff. But it's like I don't think he realizes the power of his reviews, or if he does, he
Does
definitely is pretentious because he doesn't seem to care. But people give this man a lot of power in his words, and I think it's a little bit over the top.
man,
He
I
only
would,
eating takeout and shit. Like what the fuck is
bro.
that?
You want to eat in your car? I would have took that man to Royal Farms.
Yeah.
Have a ball.
Right, Brad.
Get the
Like you can go to Sheets, get some gas station food. You gonna eat in
man.
the car.
If this type of food you doing, like I went to a gas station, they had a food truck out there. Like that's the type of spots you need to go to.
The food trucks.
Food
Now
And
you
we
know
got some
what's
good
funny
ones.
is I know his dumb ass didn't eat that Ethiopian shit in the car.
Nah, that was the one that he actually went inside. He even said he was like, "Oh, I
Oh
heard Ethiopian food is better served, like you know what I'm saying,
yeah, you can't eat it in
at
your
the table and
car.
all that
Like
shit."
that's some dumb shit. So like,
bro.
oh, surprise, surprise, the
I
joint
mean,
that he had an actual restaurant experience was the best one. Like,
Right? Yeah. Nah. He even
okay,
said
bro.
that was the best one, and I'm like, bro, that's because you had the full experience, man. Like.
Shit hit different when you getting the full experience. You getting the service. You getting the
The only
drinks.
one
Like
I
you
would
getting
say that
that.
you could really eat in the car is the carryout food, and for me, that's a very very specific DC. Like that's not even something. If you didn't really grow up in DC, Maryland, Virginia area, I wouldn't even expect you to know what that is or to enjoy it that much. Like that's very specific to the city.
Surprised he didn't go to Roman Rooster.
So wait, I got a question, right? I don't know who this guy really is. It's like my first time, maybe second time I hear about this guy. So you mean to tell me this dude is a food critic, but a picky food dude?
He
Yeah, you should check him out, G. I think he did
I'm not
some
taking
stops in
nobody
New
out, man.
Jersey.
No, fuck no,
Quote, in
man.
my opinion, all the restaurants are geared directly towards alcohol. If you don't drink, it seems like it's slim pickings. I'm talking about everything. Alcohol, bottomless, topless, whoop de whoop. I don't drink, so I'm hungry.
yeah, like
Yep.
he's not for his palate, and it's not a knock on him because everybody doesn't have to eat fine dining. Everyone doesn't have to eat sit down food, but this ain't the spot for him. So, and if it
But he
is,
didn't do his research. Like I know when I go anywhere past New Jersey, when I'm in Maryland, Virginia, it's all about crab and seafood.
Yeah,
he took
that's crazy. He not drinking or eating seafood. Like the fuck? Did you miss the memo, bro?
Yeah, get the hell out of the DMV.
That's what we do here, bro. We drink and eat seafood. That's what people do. That's like
yeah,
a staple in the area, bro.
it'd
Like
be hard.
mimosa, bottomless mimosas on brunch and seafood.
Yeah, if you can't pop a bottle, you can't take shots. If you can't get the mimosas, yeah, you ain't even hit a brunch. So, like, I mean, all respect to Keith Lee. He's done a lot of good work for a lot of deserving businesses, but it's not really a scene. You know what I'm saying? The DMV not for you, bro.
Oh man,
Nah,
he was
definitely if
really
you're not
coming
eating
there,
no
folks.
seafood.
He said there's one joint smells almost unedible. Wow.
Like, that's crazy because it's some really cool spots in DC too, like some really hidden gems. I don't like to talk about them, and I'm not a gatekeeping type of guy, but I do prefer to gatekeep some of my restaurants.
Great fine dining experiences, like the place that Rome recommended, Rose's Luxury, one of the best meals I've had.
Right. Right.
Multiple
I
course
thought that
menu.
would have been something that's on his radar, but
No, he wouldn't go to no shit like that. They don't serve it in the car.
yo, and that's the thing, because Scruff, you've been there, so that whole experience isn't even a car experience. Like I don't even know how you would do that in the car. Like you can't. Like,
Bro, if you're eating in the car, like you automatically are subjected to lower, not to say automatically lower quality food, but like restaurant fine dining experiences, the quote unquote Michelin star stuff like that's in spaces like that. You don't Michelin star a drive through or takeout.
He should have
that shit's crazy.
went and found like some baby showers, and then like this family has the best food in the city. Like that would have been a little bit more.
Yo, that's what he needs to do. Go pull up when niggas are having cookouts, bruh.
He not
Come
ready
try
for
the
that.
cookout food.
I'll tell you what, bro. This Bryce not on tonight, but a couple years ago, it's his birthday. So a couple years ago, they had a birthday party at his crib. And I knew they was going crazy when they had the fish frying in the garage. I said, "Oh shit, we coming crazy in this joint." They got a whole fish fry assembly line in the garage. I said, "Oh shit, like they coming crazy, boy." Like, yeah,
tank out.
yeah, crazy though. But yeah, nah, man, he don't know what the fuck he talking about.
So
Yeah,
I guess
man,
we'll all agree my man's pretentious as fuck. We shout out to his hustle, I guess.
I think we should start our own little food review, man, like a gas food review. We don't need no
Honestly,
Keith Lee.
I've been saying that, to be honest.
Nah, that is a fact.
Because we definitely got some new spots opening around my way that I'm definitely about to check out. Me personally, man, I love eating and trying things that are new. So like, I'm with it.
Same.
And I'm a fair critic. I'm unlike Keith Lee. I think I'm a much more fair critic with the food. I'm
I
not a
don't think
picky
he does
eater at
himself
all. I
justice by
eat almost
showing his
anything.
face. This is what
Pause.
happens when you try to be famous. Unless he should have just put a mask on, disguised his face, gave his reviews.
Bro is famous.
Right. And my question is like, how and when did this happen? Like, what are Keith Lee's credentials? Why do we trust this man's take on food?
So I've been hearing about Keith Lee for well over a year, maybe two. So like the first videos I've seen of him, he was literally just going to regular mom and pop shops and eating food quietly, soft spoken, and just saying if he likes it or not. And then it kind of like he became so popular just for being like, he was never harsh. I think people took to his personality more than his food taste. And then that blew him up on TikTok, and he kind of just from there started going on tour. The tour is what took him to new heights.
Yeah.
Going to cities like he said he didn't really enjoy New York. So what does that tell you?
Wait, whoa. The greatest city of all the world. He didn't enjoy New York, where you could get
And that's
Ethiopian
insane.
food to like Colombian food to like Dominican food to like
New York has everything you
South
could ever
Asian
need, bro.
food.
Like if you're looking for a cookie spot, best
You
believe
got-
they got 5 within 10 blocks.
He's
You want brownies, they got a brownie spot. Like a donut spot, fresh donuts. Like
He's taking
free donuts.
spots. That's how he's finding these spots. But also, you kind of got to think this too. If the spot didn't have too much popularity already, probably it was because the food not really what it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So
Went to my girl's spot that sold a restaurant to the immigrant.
yeah, that food truck lady, right? Yeah,
Uh,
nah. I think, man, look, I enjoy his videos. I like what he does at the end of most all of them. I think his intentions are good. I just think he comes across a little snobby, man, and I think that hurts certain places. But to T's point, if the place already wasn't popular, there's already a reason, and Keith Lee is not about to change that.
Yeah.
But yeah, fellas, good shit tonight, man. Anybody got anything else they wanna get off?
Yeah, man. Fuck Keith Lee.
Fuck Aaron Judge. How about that? This can be the fuck you section of the show. Fuck Aaron Judge. Fuck Keith Lee. Fuck the Yankees. Fuck Daniel Jones if he's really dating a homegirl from the old NFL show, man. Fuck the whole New York.
You know what? It just sucks when y'all ain't from the greatest place that God created. It was Jesus, and God said, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit more, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. He said, I'm gonna give y'all the Yankees. And just to put the cherry on top, I'm gonna have it in New York City, the greatest place after it, wherever Jesus come from. You hear me? It's God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, then it's the New York Yankees, baby.
Also,
And
I don't
it
know if
just
Bryce
sucks.
realized that draft is in the morning, but I will not be there.
I was gonna ask about that. Is there confirmation on this 8:30 draft?
8:30 a.m.
Hell no, that shit's not happening. That shit's not happening. It's a PM. I'll go in there and switch it if I can.
Needs to
Yeah,
be-
we gotta get on that one.
Sleepy Bryce strikes again.
Hey, D,
Man.
man, we not doing no 8:30, man.
Hell no. See y'all at 8:30 p.m.
I'll let
Yeah,
you.
we'll get that one together and holler at y'all, man. As always, sports for the culture.